Hey, how are you doing? So, this is the final episode of Project Outpost 43, and this is where I'm sitting right in the office at this moment in time, and with the hope that by the end of this episode, I am come to the conclusion that I may not do this again, but there's plans of something else to do into the future. Just watch this little clip for the moment, a couple of minutes, and I will be right back at the end of it to talk. Right. I don't even know how to start this. I'm going to start recording my progress with this. I'm going to be building a 6x8 box, which I'm going to call my office, man cave kind of thing, and which is going to be mad because I've never built anything like this. I'm a little nervous but excited to do it as well, and along the way I will make mistakes and I will have to learn quite a lot of things, but yeah, this is going to be expensive and fun. Do you know, when you watch that, that's a hell of a look back for me. And it's an absolutely extraordinary journey for 2 months. It's taught me a lot, And some people say to me, oh, I would love to try that. And I say, go for it. If you can finish a project and you have the motivation to finish something, because, man, it was hard. It was so hard some days to keep going, especially in the times like doing things like plasterboard. I hated the plasterboard episode. I don't know if you ever saw the plasterboard episode. I hated that part. And even to this day, it's still kind of haunted me. And I see little kind of mistakes that I've done with the plasterboard, which, I mean, all this is going to change over time. I work to a budget, which I'll talk about in a second. I work to a budget. So I think what I might end up doing is some sort of wood paneling over this in the end anyway, and upgrade it. But for the moment, the idea was to get a working garden room so I could work out of. I could do a bit of a YouTube studio in here. My son wants to come in here and play games, get out of the house and stuff like that. So this is what this was for. And at the end of that video, if you just saw then as well, that's kind of, I just dumped my stuff in the office and got it working so I could just crack on working basically out of here. So that's not the finished product. I'm going to make a TV monitor and there's going to be some podcast microphones. And that's the other reason for this as well, doing my podcasts and reviving that, which I've put on a hiatus this year. And doing more of these, doing more videos for the business, and hopefully doing future projects as well from in here at the same time. So that's where I'm at. So cost. is the first question everyone everyone asks me. How much did this cost? What was the budget? And I don't mind answering this question. The reason why I built this is because moved into a new build. We had another child, so I had no spare rooms left, basically, to have an office in the house. I was thinking about building a dormer, and the costing of that came in quite a lot, and that's something for the future, I guess. And then it was the obvious then, we need to build a room in our tiny little garden that we've got. We need to build a room out there somewhere next to the shed where we can, I can work from, my son can actually work in here as well, do some homework in here, get out of the house, and, just a standard garden room, really. I wanted it to be an office-esque. I don't want to have, like, bifolding doors or anything like that. So I wanted to have one door, maybe a window. So what cost it? And when you look at the standard office in town, it costs about 600 quid a month if you want to expand a little bit more. So I looked at that and I thought, right, £600 a month, I could take that money and buy a garden room, which is about 6-ish grand, maybe a little more depending where you go. It's a lot of money for a garden room. I thought to myself, right, what does it consist of? So I did a bit of research and I saw that it doesn't really consist of much to build. Is it coming in economical? If you could do it to the reasonable quality and reasonable amount of budget, what would it look like? So I went away for probably the best part of a year to do this, to look into it and work out what it was going to do. Well, how much it was going to come in. Last year, the original budget was about 1,700 if I did it with certain materials. This year, the budget went up to about 2,400, 2,500. And that's how much the cost of materials went up this year. So that was the budget. And I've come in just over that, 2,554, I think it was, maybe 58. So a little over. A lot of reasons why it came a little over. I really wanted it to come under £2,000, if I'm honest with you. But like I said, the cost of materials, there was a few mistakes, especially with this horrible plasterboard stuff. There was a few mistakes I made with that, so I had to go and buy some more. And then there was the, if you saw the episode with the door where I locked myself in, there was a bit of kit there that I had to buy in the door, which cost best part of 100 quid as well. So those little things that from mistakes cost me. But they weren't big mistakes, but luckily they were mistakes I could afford to fix and work with. I really, really hope you enjoyed this series. Like I said, I alluded to, there may be something else I'm going to do. Sadly, it won't be a dormer. I'm not allowed to do any conversion to the house. I'm allowed to build stuff in the garden. That's about it. I am doing some projects in the house, which I may film, which is for the kids' bedroom. But I don't know yet on that one. We may go down a different route and end up buying IKEA furniture for that. But the big project that I might do next is, if you remember the grey little box that's next to this, the little shed, the plastic Keta shed. Brilliant shed, by the way, if you ever want a shed. Whip it up in half an afternoon and it's done. I want to build something bigger. Now that I've got bitten by the bug of building something, I want to have a go at building myself a shed. Which would be a lot cheaper than building a garden room, because there's no insulation, there's no plasterboard involved. And it really doesn't need electrics, it just needs some solar lighting, which might be the upgrade to this next year or the year after. But it's all down to budget, it's all down to, making the money for it, basically. And that's what I am going to do into the future. But stay tuned on that one. Hopefully there will be other things to talk about, not just building sheds. But yeah, take it easy. Look out for my podcast, look out for my videos. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and thank you. Seriously, you've really helped me move this along as well. The motivation everyone's given me. Thank you. Take it easy, guys. And Merry Christmas. Bye.